Will the Committee of Supply please come to order? This section of the Committee of Supply will now consider the estimates of the Department of Advanced Education and Training. Does the Honourable Minister have an opening statement?
I do.
Honourable Minister.
Good afternoon, chairs and members of the committee. Thank you for being here today. It's a privilege to appear before this committee to present the 2026-27 estimates for the Department of Advanced Education and Training. I am joined here by a dedicated team of senior officials who help lead this important work. First and foremost, Jan Forster. She is the Deputy Minister and longtime civil servant, and I'm incredibly grateful to have Jan's experience and wisdom on the team. I have Carlos Matias. He's Executive Financial Officer and Assistant Deputy Minister of Finance, and the keeper of all of the knowledge of this department over the last number of years and even decades. Kate Bolton, Assistant Deputy Minister of Student Access and Success. Kate is also a dedicated civil servant who is solutions-oriented and absolutely understands the value of the student experience in post-secondary in Manitoba. I have Colleen Kachaluk. She's Assistant Deputy Minister of Advanced Education and the keeper of all of the rest of the knowledge. The team, I could not ask for a better team of folks to work with in the department, and I'm incredibly grateful. This has been a trying year in the post-secondary sector, and we have weathered it as well as we possibly could, and it is in no small part because of the amazing staff that are in the department. And last but certainly not least, I have my Director of Ministerial Affairs, Serena Pottinger. She is keeper of my calendar and my temperament some days, and incredibly grateful for the support and dedication that Serena brings every single day. Over the past year, I've had the immense honor of being out in communities, meeting with learners, educators, institutional leaders, Indigenous partners, employers, and many, many, many community organizations. And I've also had the opportunity to speak publicly about the work underway to strengthen Manitoba's post-secondary and adult learning systems. These conversations and the issues that Manitobans have been hearing about in the public arena have reinforced a clear message. People want a system that is accessible, affordable, responsive, and they want it to deliver real outcomes for families, communities, and Manitoba's workforce. Our department plays a vital role in supporting Manitoba's social and economic development, and we do this by ensuring adult and post-secondary education is sustainable, accessible, accountable, and affordable. And by partnering with institutions and communities to align training and learning opportunities with Manitoba's needs. Our work reflects the priorities Manitobans have seen this government advance publicly, which is rebuilding healthcare, lowering costs for Manitobans, and growing our economy. And, importantly, advancing reconciliation. In the 2026-27 estimates, we set out how we will deliver on those priorities this year. Our department is working closely with Manitoba's post-secondary institutions and health partners to continue to expand and sustain healthcare training across the province, and particularly in areas where shortages are most acute and where training closer to home supports recruitment and retention. So in rural areas, on First Nations, northern remote communities, we're working with our partners to ensure that there are opportunities for Manitobans in all of those places, and that will continue to improve healthcare outcomes for all Manitobans. Since 2023, Manitoba has added 290 new health training seats, with 67%, that's 196 of those seats, focused in rural and northern communities. In 26-27, the department is making targeted investments to strengthen Manitoba's health workforce pipeline, including $115,000 in operating and $950,000 in capital to create 32 paramedic seats at Assiniboine College across 2 rural rotating sites. $57,000 to sustain the expansion of healthcare aid seats from 30 to 130 seats annually at University College of the North, maintaining expanded capacity in remote communities, and supporting 30 additional nursing students for the 2026 intake of French-speaking nurses at Université de Saint-Boniface. $122,000 in operating to support the new paramedicine direct entry stream at Red River College Polytechnic, and improving accessibility for learners and directly entering from high school. We've made some significant changes to our training offerings in this province to ensure that even more Manitobans are able to access entry into those training programs and that they are supported very well during their learning. Budget 2026 also provides ongoing operating funding and an additional $20.1 million in capital to sustain previously approved 258 training seats. This includes 30 new doctor training seats, 15 new physician assistant seats, 25 new nurse practitioner seats, 10 new physical therapy seats, 10 occupational therapy seats, 16 paramedic seats, 20 combined laboratory and X-ray technology seats, 20 medical laboratory technology seats, 100 healthcare aid seats, and 12 nurse reentry seats. We are also advancing major capital investments that support training capacity and modernize learning environments. This includes $14.6 million in capital in 26-27 to advance construction of the new Bannatyne facility at University of Manitoba. That's $5.5 million capital for equipment purchases and laboratory renovations to support the combined laboratory and X-ray technology and medical laboratory technology program delivery at Assiniboine College. And all of these investments amount to more training opportunities that will help rebuild the decimated healthcare system in Manitoba and ensure that for years to come we have a pipeline available for students to train here, and especially in our rural communities, to give young people the ability to see a future for themselves where they are. For many Manitobans, the decision to pursue post-secondary education is made at the kitchen table, weighing costs, family responsibilities, and the hope that education will open doors. Our job is to make sure those doors stay open and that supports are clear, dependable, and focused on student success. Budget 26-27 reflects this as we continue to invest in province-wide affordability supports through the Manitoba Scholarship and Bursary Initiative, maintaining the $10.5 million in 26-27 across partner institutions and organizations. Budget 26-27 also supports students through Manitoba Student Aid by providing $132 million to meet rising demands for student loans and grants. We don't want finances to be a barrier to students accessing post-secondary, and we'll continue to work to increase those supports for students. The data shows that more students are benefiting from our increased investments and service improvements. In 24-25, Manitoba Student Aid experienced a 26.4 increase in funded students from 22-23, from 17,705 to 22,387. That is over 20,000 Manitobans who are opening doors for their future and are filling the workforce needs that this province has. The total amount of Manitoba student loans and grants dispersed in 24-25 increased by 46.9%, from $83 million to $122 million. And the total number of Manitoba bursary recipients increased by 17.8%. The operational volume behind these results is significant. And in the 24-25 program year, Manitoba Student Aid processed 29,266 applications, reflecting both growing demand and strong delivery capacity. I want to take another moment to shout out Kate Bolton here, who is in charge of the Student Access Program, and thank you sincerely for providing access to all of those Manitobans to receive supports for post-secondary. In 26-27, the department is enhancing student protection by adopting a Manitoba First approach, providing the Manitoba portion of student aid for students studying in Manitoba. This ensures funding supports are directed to quality programs delivered by institutions accountable under Manitoba's legislative oversight.
Thank you, Minister. Does the critic from official opposition have an opening statement? Member for Morden Winkler.
Do they come join, or is that after? Okay. Great, thank you. Well, thank you very much for everyone being here today. This is such an important part of our democratic process, being able to, have conversations together and talk about what we're, doing for the province and about advanced education and training for Manitoba. As the MLA for Morden Winkler and as the official opposition critic for advanced education and training, I carry a great responsibility. It is my duty to hold the minister and to the government accountable to the decisions that they make and the policies that they implement. And it's an important part of what we do to make sure that we take care and meet all the needs of those in our province. So it's an honor for me to be here. Education plays a key role in shaping the future of our communities and our economy. It affects our families, our children, our students. In both high school and post-secondary settings, students rely strongly on programs, supportive teachers, and accessibility opportunities to build skills that they need for their life and for their work. Trades education is also very important as academic pathways for many of those that don't want to go into a different kind of role, but they want to be hands-on, and those are important programs as well. It gives students practical, hands-on experience and prepares them for careers that are essentially essential to our province and that we need for everyday life. I'm grateful for the schools and the educators who work very hard every day to support our students and our kids, essentially. Their dedication makes a real difference in the lives of the students that they work with, especially for those who may struggle or need extra guidance. It's such an important role in our society and in our economy. Many students succeed because of the encouragement and the effort that these teachers and staff put into their students. Many of these students wouldn't be where they are today without those that are supporting and encouraging them. So I just want to say thank you again to our educators across the board and our post-secondary as well. At the same time, there are serious concerns that need attention, of course. In Manitoba, there is a growing gap in skilled labor and skilled labor training opportunities in our healthcare as well. Many students who are interested in trades face limited spaces to enter programs, long wait times and lists, and a lack of resources to get them to the place where they need to go for the school, especially those in rural Manitoba. This makes it harder for them to follow their chosen path and contribute to the workforce. Post-secondary schools are also feeling the effects of less international students is also one of the big things that have happened in the last little while. Students are facing increased challenges, including financial pressures, limited guidance, and uncertainty about their future options. These issues can discourage them from continuing their education or training. And I think it's our job as legislators and those in positions such as we have to make sure we can do everything we can to support and encourage the post-secondary education and the skilled training that we can have offered in our province. I will bring these concerns forward to the minister and the committee with the hope that improvements can be made and that we can work collaboratively. That's my goal, is that we all are working for the same goal together to make sure that we can provide what we need for our students in our province and for the families so that we can contribute, they can contribute to a healthy life and our economic growth of our province. It's our goal to support, strengthen our workforce, and build a more stable future for Manitoba. And I think that's all of our goals here today. So in our conversations, I hope that we can have good conversations. And I'm looking forward to hearing information and from the minister today. So thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, member. Under Manitoba practice, debate on minister's salary is the last item considered for a department in the Committee of Supply. Accordingly, we shall now defer consideration of line item 44.1 bracket A contained in resolution 44.1. At this time, we invite the minister's staff to join us at the table, and we ask that minister reintroduce the staff in attendance. Minister of Advanced Education and Training.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to reintroduce the staff who are here with me today. We have Deputy Minister Jan Forrester, Director of Ministerial Affairs Serena Pottinger, Assistant Deputy Minister of Student Access and Success Kate Bolton, Assistant Deputy Minister Colleen Kachaluk, and Carlos Matias. I always like to call him the money man, but he has a more important title than that. He is a CFO.
Thank you, Minister. According to Rule 78, bracket 16, during the consideration of departmental estimates, questioning for each department shall proceed in a global manner, with questions put separately on all resolutions once the official opposition critic indicates that questioning has concluded. The floor is now open for questions. Member Morden Winkler.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. How do I address him?
Honorable Chair.
Honorable Chair. Quick question. Would the minister be able to just introduce everybody one more time? The mic wasn't on and I didn't quite hear, if that's okay? Okay.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you. I am pleased to have with me today Jan Forrester, Deputy Minister, Carlos Matias, Executive Financial Officer and Assistant Deputy Minister of Finance, Kate Bolton, Assistant Deputy Minister of Student Access and Success, Colleen Kachaluk, Assistant Deputy Minister of Advanced Education, and Serena Pottinger, Director of Ministerial Affairs.
Thank you, Minister. Member Morden Winkler.
Thank you, Chair. Deputy Chair? Chair? Okay. Thank you. I'll just introduce Shannon Martin. He's here with me today as my backup and my researcher if I have any questions. So, and he has quite the history in this building, and it's nice to have him here to join me. Thanks, Shannon. All right. Okay. All right. So I'll just kind of ask a couple of questions. And anyways, it's great to meet all of your staff. It's really nice to meet all of you. I know we've kind of chatted a little bit, I think, during some of the briefings, but what you guys do is such an important thing. So thank you for being here, and I'm looking forward to hearing all the different information and stuff that you will bring today. So one of my questions is if the minister could just let me know, as of January 1st, 2026, how many students were enrolled at MITT currently as of January 1st?
Before I recognize the minister, a gentle reminder to all members to put their questions and responses through the chair, please. Minister, Advanced Education and Training.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I want to start by thanking the staff and administration at both MITT and Red River College Polytech for being so incredibly cooperative during this really difficult time of transition. As we're all aware in this room, the federal government made unilateral changes to international student allotments, which have resulted in the current model at MITT not being sustainable. So in being responsible with public dollars and ensuring that opportunities remain for Manitoba students and the Manitoba labor market, the responsible thing and the, I would venture, more visionary practice of looking to see how we can ensure that the best pieces of MITT are maintained is through this current transition model. The member has asked about enrollment numbers at MITT, and I have a full breakdown per category, if that's helpful. So I'm going to start with the 24-25 school year and say that the high school portion was 436. The domestic post-secondary portion was 566. The MA Millwright, the apprenticeships was 35. And the industry partnerships had 195 students. The international students were 1,988. The language programs were 318 students, and the adult learning centers had 1,125 students. For the 25-26 year, and you will quickly see where we have gotten to here. The 25-26 numbers, the high school number is 500. The domestic post-secondary is 581. The millwright is 48. The industry partnerships is up to 426. The international student allotment, 878. Language programs, 420, and adult learning center, 897. And why these numbers are important is because it clearly shows that there is a significant reduction in international students, and the majority of students that were attending MITT in the past were international students. That is no longer sustainable. We have partnered with Red River to ensure a smooth transition for the programs that continue to serve the Manitoba labor market, continue to serve Manitoba students, and continue to be in high demand in our province. The transition is going well. There is a good working relationship between both institutions, and the end result will see Manitoba appreciating even more training opportunities, specifically in the trades and in other high needs occupations in Manitoba. This is, the transition piece is difficult always. And again, I thank the staff and the administration and the students for their patience in this transition. And once again, reiterate that the unilateral decisions by the federal government have had an immense impact on Manitoba's post-secondaries and post-secondaries across the country. I awoke to another news story this morning of further closures in Ontario. There are consolidations and full closures happening in Ontario. Manitoba is weathering this better than most.
Thank you, Minister. Member Morden Winkler.
Okay. Thank you for that information. It's good to see the numbers. I will say that, of course, this has got to be a stressful time for post-secondary institutions across the board with all the instability that's been happening, and that it must be a big adjustment and stressor for a lot of the staff working at both MITT and at Red River College Polytech. So my question would be, in regards to that, we know that this is a difficult time. We know that there's a lot of transition happening as a result of some of the federal government changes. My question would be, I was able to tour MITT in December, and I really enjoyed, and the staff there were just amazing. And my question would be, when I was there meeting with the leadership and the staff of the school, we did discuss the changes that were happening from the federal government, and they were optimistic, and they said they were going to be pivoting, and they had a plan in place at that time. Just wondering how many employees, what the number of employees are currently working at MITT, and how many will be looking for new employment after and being laid off after the new transitions happening.
Minister, Advanced Education and Training.
Thank you for the question. I'm sure you can appreciate this is an evolving situation. There are a lot of moving parts. I'm incredibly proud of the team, not only at Red River and MITT, but to the phenomenal staff in the department and our partners really across the sector in business, in labor, in education, who have come together to try to make this transition as smooth as possible. You may have seen the MITT Red River College transition update, and I'm pleased to table copies here if that is in order. It was released by Red River College Polytechnic as a joint statement with MITT that reiterated that 19 unique academic programs are to continue at the Henlow campus. Those programs were the decisions around that were come to as a collaborative effort between both institutions. Red River College has its own instructors, MITT has its own instructors. There are many unique programs at MITT that Red River does not teach. So it is a natural assumption that those instructors will transfer over with those programs. But I will not preempt those discussions here out of respect for all of the people involved. Most of the employees at MITT in a teaching capacity are contract staff, and at Red River many of them are permanent staff. There are 344 active staff at MITT, 24 on leave, and 25 MTS teachers. And again, with the unique programs that have transitioned over, it is reasonable to presume that many of those instructors will transfer with the programs. But again, these are live conversations, and there are processes that exist at each institution that we are going to honor. I have a couple more minutes here, so I just want to take a moment to sort of go back in time to when we first joined government here, and we had the privilege of coming to serve for Manitoba. And in looking at the 7 years previous to me taking over this file and the devastating cuts that happen across post-secondary in this province. And just to remind everybody here in this committee room so that we appreciate the full context of what's happening here. And that was that post-secondary funding was cut by 18%. I will also add that in that time, there was labor unrest, or strikes, collective bargaining agreements were not settled. There were cuts across the board. And when we were elected, the primary ask of institutions was to build better relationships and to have stable, reliable funding. Our government has done that, even in the wake of many, many changes here, including unilateral changes by the federal government that have had a devastating impact on the sector. Our promise is to the students of this province, because we know that an education, a good education, is the best ticket to success. It is an opportunity to move if you are somebody who is having financial challenges. It is an opportunity to move out of poverty. It is an opportunity to create goodness in one's life. And we know how important it is as a great equalizer to ensure that that gap between the very richest in our province and those who have the very least continues to become smaller. There are many forces in this world that push it in the other direction, but our government believes wholeheartedly in access to education and specifically access to opportunities for each and every student in Manitoba, regardless of the postal code that you were born into or the one that you hope to reside in for your senior years. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Member Morden Winkler.
Thank you. As I had mentioned earlier, I had been at a tour at MITT just in December, and they were still quite positive that there was some way that they could make that work. Being it's a 40-year-old institution, I'm concerned that maybe we didn't do enough because it's already basically things are just turning over, but a lot of the programs are still staying. When did the minister make the decision to close MITT? The announcement in the media was on January 28th. Just wondering when she made that decision.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you. I just want to begin by correcting the record. MITT was actually founded June 12th, 2014. So, I am close to 50, and being born in 2014 wouldn't make anybody close to 40. So I just wanted to put that on the record. It is a younger institution than you had cited. And to the question of when the decision was made, I will be very frank and say that in December, the board chair and the president came to us when it was determined that their planned deficit would be larger than the provincial grant. And a fiscally responsible decision is not to continue when the circumstances that are driving that deficit are not going to change. So we waited until the federal government gave us our provincial attestation letter numbers, which is their way of controlling the international students. And when it was clear that the federal government was not moving in a different direction and was in fact doubling down on their decision to cut international students, it became clear that there was, we needed to do something that would ensure that students weren't impacted and that we could continue to deliver the best possible education outcomes for Manitoba students. This includes expanding trade opportunities, enhancing the connections to high school programs, ensuring that there are easier laddered pathways towards those red seals that we talk about when we talk about building Churchill and expanding growth in Manitoba. We need those skilled trades, and we can't afford to gamble with Manitobans' hard-earned money on a prospect that wasn't going to change. And I know it is hard for the members opposite to consider that a new Democratic government would make smart decisions around what is best for not only the economic future of our province, but the social future as well. But that's who we are as New Democrats. This is at the core of who we are. We know that Manitobans work hard for their money, and they expect us to be judicious with how we decide to make investments for our future. So we've done things in other departments, like the Universal Food Program. The nutrition program is an investment that some people said was a bad idea, but is ensuring that more Manitoban students go to the classroom each and every day, that they're able to focus, that they're able to do their schoolwork, and that, frankly, that they're coming to school. And, you know, making decisions like that one don't come without making decisions in other places as well. And my heart goes out to the folks who are impacted right now, because change is hard and the uncertainty is difficult. But this is after years and years of underfunding and cuts, and the federal government's unilateral decisions layered on, we're left with a situation that we need to manage for the best interests of all Manitobans, not just a group of friends, not just somebody that is looking to start up a new business, maybe in silica mining, but really at what is the best investment for our province. And I'll tell you that when I talk to people out in the community, so many people say this just makes good sense. That we know that there's now going to be a South End campus at Red River College where young people in that community, folks who are reskilling, upskilling, will have the opportunity to go to a trusted, tested institution where they can also ladder towards their Red Seal and other credentials that will make them invaluable in this province. The transition piece is hard, but I know that we'll get through it together because there is a phenomenal team of people who are leading it.
Thank you, Minister. Once again, questions and responses through the chair, please. Member Murden Winkler.
Thank you, Chair. Just a little information for you that that technical vocational center was founded in 1983. It has changed names, but it has always been there since 1983, which is an important part of our history of our province, because we do need to continually make sure that our trades and our education system is there. So, and it's hard for me, chairs, to listen. I understand what the minister's trying to say. But when you say change is hard, it's hard to say that when you have hundreds of people losing their jobs. I think that it's a bit more than just hard. I think that's devastating for many people, and I think we need to acknowledge that there's a big transition happening for families that have no idea what's going to happen. Adding up we have almost 400 staff at MITT, and if you take half of those staff, that's hundreds of people without job stability or any job at all, that they don't even know where they're at right now as there's transition happening. And it's unfortunate, and that's not like something that we wish for anybody. But so in regards to the unemployment part, what is the minister and the current government going to be doing in regards to the situation with several hundred employees being laid off or losing their jobs as a result of this transition?
Honorable Minister, Advanced Education and Training.
I understand political gamesmanship and how folks try to position things to score rather cheap political points. But I would caution the member opposite about inciting fear into places where there isn't right now. It's wholly irresponsible. I said it in the chamber 2 days ago, and I will repeat it again, that there are processes in place. There are people working towards these ends, and it is very disrespectful to the folks who are actually impacted to create this fear narrative and not allow the process to work itself through. I can appreciate that it might make a good social media video to say that hundreds of jobs will be lost, but it's very irresponsible to say when that is not the outcome that we are looking at. I want to remind this room again that the heavy reliance on international students came when the previous government chronically underfunded post-secondary institutions, and institutions were looking for a stable funding measure. They were looking for a partner that would help sustain the operations. They didn't have one in the previous PC government, and they looked for revenue in other places. Can we go back in time and change that? No, but we sure can do better with who we have at the table now. And I would venture that any post-secondary that you go to now and speak to their leadership about the kind of relationship that they have with this government is exponentially greater than under the previous administration. And why does that matter? It matters because we can solve problems together. I'll remind this room as well that it was the members opposite who fired hundreds of nurses, who had people out on the picket line. I was on those picket lines with people, month after month after month. Even during the campaign, we had Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries was still out on the picket line. So while I appreciate the feigned concern from the member opposite, the party opposite's record really shows itself. It's very illustrative of where the priorities lie. And I can tell you that we have made more investments in post-secondary than the members opposite ever did. We've enhanced student loans and bursaries. Every single post-secondary has settled their collective agreements that were sitting outstanding for all of those years. Professors, instructors, librarians are making fair wages, and students have access to some of the best programming that's ever been offered here. I'm very proud of our record here, and while transition is difficult, we know that this is the right decision with the deck of cards that we have right now that will help sustain training across the province, not only this year, but for years to come. At this table here, and I know you can't see him on camera, is Minister Glenn Simard, who represents the good city of Brandon.
Order, please. I would remind members to address colleagues with their constituency name or their title, please. Minister of Advanced Education and Training.
My deep apologies, Honorable Chair. Minister, MLA for Brandon East, Glenn Simard. Oh, I can't say his name. I retract. I apologize.
Minister, Advanced Education and Training.
The MLA for Brandon East is here, and he knows firsthand that the investments that we have made in post-secondary since we've been in office are transformational, not only for the city of Winnipeg, but for the city of Brandon and the entire Westman area. We've expanded training in nearly every area of healthcare. Assiniboine College is receiving record investment, including in the Prairie Innovation Center. And Brandon University is in line for a brand new science center at Browdy.
Member Morden Winkler.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to ask the question again. The minister, am I allowed to say that? I'm not talking to you? Okay. The minister said that there are processes happening. When I asked the question about the 200 employees, if half the programs are going to be canceled or no longer active, just on behalf of those that won't make the cut or that won't be able to transfer over to the new location, the minister did say processes are happening. Can I ask what processes are happening? I'm sure that that is my question, that I think people have a right to know what's happening in that situation.
Minister, Advanced Education and Training.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I just wanted to share that from a meeting today, it will be no surprise that we continue to meet regularly with leadership from both MITT and Red River College. And the leadership there have shared that staff at the town hall from both institutions shared with the leadership that they are appreciative to be part of the RRCP future. Red River College is continuing to build on the good work of MITT, and the South Campus, for the umpteenth time, will continue to operate under the RRCP banner. It's still going to have a full suite of programming, 19 out of 20 programs, and they'll need a skilled team to deliver those programs. I'm wondering if the member opposite is suggesting that we continue to offer classes where there are no students in them because they were wholly subscribed to by international students. Is that a reasonable approach for Manitobans? Is that a reasonable approach for an institution? I would venture that we would say it is not. Again, communication at a recent town hall emphasized that Red River will continue to need skilled staff to deliver programming. There are processes that are underway that will ensure that current staff have first opportunity at new jobs, and I would continue to reiterate that not addressing the fiscal needs of an institution is not a solution for long-term sustainability. And again, because the minister who was previously responsible is now in the room, I'll just remind the committee here that under the previous Pallister and Stephenson government, the cuts to post-secondary education amounted to 18% across the board. They cut operating grants by $15 million, and when factoring in inflation, this left universities with a $100 million shortfall. I'd also like to remind the members that during that time, there were no CBAs bargained. We lost very talented folks to other provinces because there were no increases in salaries or benefits, and frankly, no recognition of the phenomenal work that happens at post-secondary institutions. In the 7 years of the Pallister and Stephenson government, the University of Manitoba saw a 5% cut to funding. The University of Winnipeg saw a 4% cut to funding. Brandon University saw a 4% cut to funding. University College of the North was cut by 7%, and across the board, there was a 5% overall reduction. Our government understands and believes in the value of post-secondary education. We also know that while we are continuing to grapple with the unilateral changes that the federal government has made, that we have an obligation to our domestic students here and to ensure that as many students, as many Manitobans as possible can pursue post-secondary education successfully in the field of their choice. And in order to do that, we will continue to work collaboratively with our partners to make sure that as much programming in as many parts of the province are offered. I'm incredibly grateful to the partnerships that we have with our many colleges to be able to deliver programming in places like Morden Winkler, like Lac du Bonnet, like Beausejour. There's training available all over the province because we know how important that is to rural communities, to helping to keep Manitoba communities stable, and to continue to supply the phenomenal businesses that exist all across our provinces with the top-tier talent that they need to be successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Member for Morden Winkler.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Just a quick, I'm accused of playing political games, and I'm here on behalf of over 200 employees who are possibly losing their jobs. So I think as an opposition leader, I think that's my job here, to make sure that I represent everybody in our province. So I think we need to just take a look at that for a second. Also, political games, let's talk about what's happening with the high school trades stream and the programs that are happening there through MITT. Those are big concerns, and I'd like to ask about those questions. The minister doesn't seem to think that it's important that the opposition leader or an MLA in their own community should be invited to a tour where she's involved in when I was invited to participate in my community, and I was literally uninvited. So I think we need to talk about political games and say, maybe I'm here and I'm actually here for the right reasons. I want to be here because I want to help and understand what's happening in our province. And I just have a question. And like, we don't need to sit here and grandstand about all the things we're doing and we're not doing. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to represent my constituents, the people in Manitoba, and I just want answers. That's it. So I'd like to ask the question, what is this happening to this high school students that are in programs right now through MITT, through skilled trades, and that are possibly concerned? We don't have any answers about that. Students want to know, parents want to know, how is this going to be affecting these kids?
Minister of Advanced Education and Training.
I appreciate very much that question because it gives me an opportunity to talk about how excited I am about the opportunities for the high school programs. So there will be no negative impacts on any high school student. In fact, only positive outcomes. For the current students, they will continue on as they are. Same bus, same school, it will continue on. As we make this transition, Red River will be taking over the training, and they have access to even more trades than MITT. This is opening doors for students. Once Red River, we've made the legislative changes to enable Red River to take over the high school programs. There are also opportunities to move towards other school divisions as well. DFSM, very happy. Pembina Trails, extremely happy. They're thrilled to know that these programs are staying and that the continuity for their students is there. Once again, having a consolidated partnership will allow students to see a very clear pathway, a laddering towards the trade that they choose to be in. It will be easy on families to understand. It will be less disruptive. And frankly, there'll be more opportunities for students all across the province. I know it's hard to understand that, again, that we would make decisions that are for the betterment of Manitobans and not just to fill our friends' pocketbooks, but our government is committed to each and every student in Manitoba, and regardless of which postal code or constituency a student lives in, we want the best possible opportunities for them. I believe that a student in Brandon, Manitoba, and a student in Nelson House should have access to the same opportunities. I visited, the member alluded earlier to a tour that I took at a phenomenal center in her area, and it was fantastic. I'm not sure what the conversation was about being uninvited. I genuinely have no idea what she's talking about. But I can tell you that the people who are doing the vocational training at Red River Vocational Training are doing a phenomenal job. They're working cooperatively. There's a bus service that brings students from 3 or 4 different towns to go to training. There are students from Hutterite communities, from near First Nations that are all going together to do trades training. And that is a great example of communities working together, of sharing resources, and really looking at what's best for the most students. What is the best possible outcome for the most Manitobans? And I said many times on the tour that I appreciated the model that they were using, because it meant that no students were left behind, and that there was a real consideration for using resources judiciously. And so again, thank you for that awesome tour that we had. I just received a note here. It was the Amazing Race Tour for Red River Technical Vocational. And I would invite all members actually to take this tour. It's very cool. I don't have anything like that in my community. I have Louis Riel Arts and Tech Center, but they don't have the same sort of collaborative relationship that these other schools with the many buses going in different places. It was really an eye-opening experience, and one that reiterated to me that cooperation is possible, and that when we invite people to work together, that really great things can happen.
Thank you, Minister. Member Morden Winkler.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I'll say that we have got the most amazing area in southern Manitoba when it comes to working together and being collaborative. Everybody just assumes we all get along, because that's what happens in Manitoba, in southern Manitoba. The programs and the educators and the students and families are just amazing, and I'm so proud to represent them. Unfortunately, when I was invited to attend the Amazing Race and that whole day of tours, along with several of the mayors were invited, we were uninvited after they found out that we were coming. So unfortunately, that's too bad. Maybe the minister should ask her staff about that. I might be able to find information of that, but anyway. Just a quick question about, the minister talked about increasing seats for healthcare positions across Manitoba. Where will the additional seats be if there is, if there's a current decrease in programming, some of the programs from MITT? I know that the minister mentioned something about northern Manitoba having additional seats, being more in a definite, desperate need for more healthcare workers across the province. I know currently there's wait lists all over Manitoba, rurally especially, to get in some of these programs, the nursing programs in southern Manitoba and Brandon, all over the area. What is the current, what kind of areas, or how are these seats going to be increased in southern Manitoba and western parts of the province?
Honorable Minister, Advanced Education and Training.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Healthcare training is actually one of the things that we're most proud of as government. We have built some really great relationships. Our team meets every 2 weeks with individuals from Department of Health, from business, mining, training, and jobs creation, folks from the local regional health authorities, to work together in a cohesive way to determine the needs in the province and to help focus our efforts. So you may be familiar with the rural rotating sites for nursing. We've expanded those, and we are continuing to move through communities and offering new opportunities. We're also looking at how our adult learning centers factor into healthcare training, and have worked up a dual credential so an individual can finish their high school while also having a healthcare aid certification. And this is important because sometimes people are ready to go to work right away. Sometimes people are ready to go back to school after years being away. And we want to make it so that there is that there are many paths and many options for folks. There are new pathways opening for the beautiful new hospital in Neepawa, and we'll continue to support training in that area. But the key to getting all of this done really is the relationships between government, the regional health authorities, the post-secondary institutions that are delivering those programs, and being able to work together to find the best fit for the needs in the community. I know that the North has seen a great advantage by having expansion of seats and by adapting their programming to include anatomy and physiology, which was previously a barrier to folks registering for the program. It is now fully embedded in the training for their paramedicine. And we continue to look at the course offerings and the programming with relation to the communities that are being served to ensure that as few barriers as possible exist for families. I was pleased to be in Brandon to break ground for the combined lab X-ray tech program that is coming to Assiniboine College. That would not have been possible without the good relationships with our friend and President Mark Frisson and the head of the Regional Health Authority for Prairie Mountain Health. We're able to offer a first of its kind program in the Westman area that will ensure that lab techs are certified with X-ray tech capability as well, which is an absolute game changer in rural areas. Rural ERs and rural hospitals are not able to operate in the way that they need to without those very skilled training opportunities. And we'll continue to work with all of our partners. You know, we know that fighting with other levels of government or other organizations is not how we get things done. We work collaboratively. We talk about the problem that needs to be solved, and we look at the ways that we can solve it that is the best for all Manitobans. So whether that be bringing an additional healthcare aid seats to Northern Manitoba and looking at how we support students so that they are successful, or I'm very excited about the new rural rotating paramedics program that's coming from Assiniboine College. That is an absolute, again, another game changer for healthcare training in this province. When the healthcare system was decimated under the previous government, it wasn't only the system that was delivering the care, it was the system that was providing training to the future doctors, nurses, healthcare aides, lab techs, x-ray techs, respiratory therapists. All of those pieces were impacted, and we are incredibly lucky to have great partners that are working with us to make sure that we not only repair it, but we rebuild back stronger. I want to thank all of the partners that are currently delivering training in the healthcare field in this province, and I look forward to continuing to work with you on even more exciting projects.
Thank you, Minister. Member Morden Winkler.
Thank you. Thank you for that information. It's good to always hear that we're doing what we can. So my question to the Minister would be, we have quite a few hospitals opening up or it's not quite a bit, we've got a few new hospitals opening up, for example, with in healthcare. We really are at a shortage of healthcare aides, administrative staff that are trained, nurses. Specifically, beds aren't able to be opened because there's a shortage of positions that are being filled by nurses and healthcare aides. What is the minister currently doing right now to address specific community situations? In education, I do know that in southern Manitoba we do have a nursing program, and they are both struggling with having to find enough teachers to teach the courses, and also not enough spaces for people who want to take, or for families that want to stay local and be able to go to school because that's where their support network is. They're struggling to have enough spaces. They think the spaces are all being filled up, and there's no more room. So what is being done to address these specific issues in, let's say, southern Manitoba, Winkler, Morden, Altona area, as an example?
Minister, Advanced Education and Training.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. As I said before, it's exciting to talk about all of the various healthcare training options that have been opened up. Winkler and Steinbach both have adult learning centers for Red River College. I was privileged enough to meet a graduating class from the healthcare aid program in Winkler. So that was a large group of students that were not only finishing up their high school credentials, but also graduating with a healthcare aid certificate. And I would say from those students there, about half of them were interested in joining a LPN program after, which we've continued to expand through various rural rotating sites. This budget, you'll see, has additional dollars for Red River College to expand their LPN to RN training. That's a lot of those are happening in the community as well. We know that in smaller communities in particular, that it becomes essential that people can train close to home, but also that there are opportunities for jobs close to home. And I know there are some unique models where Assiniboine College is delivering an LPN program out of a personal care home. And that has provided real-world, on-the-job training for participants in that program. So there's a training facility in the basement, and they're able to move throughout the facility to do their practicum. And if you haven't had the opportunity to see what the new enhanced nursing campuses look like in terms of all of the interactive programming that's available, it is fascinating and is ensuring that nurses are getting real world type training before they even get into being beside the bedside. So, it's not only recruiting nurses to programs or healthcare aides to programs, it is ensuring that in the training that we're doing, that we're setting them up for success so we can retain them in the healthcare field. So one of the things that is happening at the training facilities is that there are virtual reality situations. So you have a very lifelike mannequin that folks are training on that is so lifelike. You can put IVs into it, you take pulses, you can provide full treatment, including stitches. And there's also a back and forth where it is responsive, so you can have real conversations where the patient is delivering their symptoms to you verbally. And there is now new technology where the skin color actually changes on the mannequin. But having the opportunity for students to learn with this top quality equipment and the highest level of training ensures that when they move into their practicum and they're at the bedside, that they're prepared for the kinds of things that come at them. It's not going to be predictable. There are going to be additional pressures, and we don't want early career nurses to exit the field because it's not what they were prepared for. So I'm really thrilled with the work that's being done with Assiniboine College and Red River College, along with the regulator and the health authorities, to ensure that our programming is very reflective of the Manitoba that we're living in and the patients that they're serving. Thank you so much for this information. So the primary care paramedic program, we've also made changes there to ensure that there is more access to direct entry. So again, this is not removing the requirement of anatomy and physiology, but it's baking it into the program so that students aren't required to first go to university and then apply for the program they want to be in, which is how it has been since the beginning. So we've made these changes to the curricula to ensure that it is a smoother pathway. Last year, there were 39 applications for the PCP program. This year, there are 146 interested applicants for the program. That's a more than 200% increase in interest, which substantiates that when you remove the barriers for people, you're making it more accessible, and they will come.
Thank you, Minister. Member Morden Winkler.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for that information. I do just want to reiterate that some of the nursing programs and healthcare programs are not being staffed by teachers, or they don't have as much teachers as they do need. And I know I've also had the opportunity to meet with different post-secondary education, and I did have a tour, and I did meet the mannequins, and it was quite something. It was amazing. The teachers and the students alike, it was a great time to get to know them and find out why they were doing this and how much their hearts were in it, what they were doing to make a better life for everyone around them, and just to help people that they love. So that was just really great. But I do have a concern that some of the courses are being offered virtual because there's no teachers available in these smaller communities that are offering these classes. And I just want to commend Assiniboine College and other colleges that are really trying to do everything they can to come up with solutions to some of these issues that they're having, and that they are being able to still offer part of the courses on virtually because they don't have a teacher on site. So that's great. The collaboration there is just amazing to see how we can continually make our education available to those that really need it. So my next question for the minister is just in regards to skilled labor and in regards to a lot of the different streams that are offered. Who has the minister collaborated with, or who have you consulted with when it comes specifically to specific trades and what they need, and where they're having a big lack of skilled trade workers applying for positions because there's nobody with those specific skills that they need? And what are we doing as a province, or what's the province doing to make sure that we address those shortages in our skilled labor, and making sure that there's opportunity for us to make sure that we can offer that education?
Honorable Minister of Advanced Education and Training.
Thank you. And I do appreciate the question about apprenticeship and what we're doing to expand opportunities. As you know, apprenticeship, the program, falls under the minister responsible for business, mining, training, and job creation. But we work very closely together as the institutions that fall under my portfolio are responsible for delivering the training. So this budget, I'm pleased that there's an additional $7 million being put towards Assiniboine College, Red River College Polytechnic, and UCN to support the training and ongoing sustainability of our apprenticeship and certification system. We know that that is a worthwhile investment, and especially with the great news about Churchill Plus, we know that we need to get Manitobans trained up all across the province. Again, so grateful to have the partnerships that we have with our post-secondaries to be able to deliver on standing up programs in communities where they need them. We work very closely with economic development, Northern Labour Force, and ultimately our goal is to find a pathway for everyone. So of our adult learners, 1,500 were surveyed, and to see what did you think, what do you need? Of those, 67% wanted more education. So we're looking towards advanced education, post-secondary of some respect. So these are folks that, for no fault of their own, had fallen off of a traditional K-12 system, maybe had an interruption in learning, had decided to come back to pursue their grade 12 education. And we know by talking to those folks that they're interested not only in achieving a grade 12 education, but moving even further. So the partnerships that we have for our adult learning centers with post-secondary institutions are incredibly important. We have, if you've ever had the privilege of going to UCN, you'll know that their adult learning center is connected right on campus. So when students start in adult ed at UCN, they are UCN students. So they will be in the bookstore buying themselves a hoodie. They are there as students at the University College of the North, and they are proudly achieving their education goals in a center that they can ultimately return to once they've completed that goal to pursue another level of education, whether that is through a technical training program or through a Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Indigenous Languages. We've just added an Indigenous language program to UCN. But really, the goal is to ensure that there is no wrong door and that there is a pathway for everyone. So if you are somebody who sees yourself in the trades, that we will find an opportunity for you. We've made enhancements to facilities across the province to help ensure that there are more opportunities for folks, and we have made some changes that allow for some unique partnerships that didn't exist before, including having electrical workers have IBEW have the opportunity to provide different levels of training. We are a government that truly believes in collaborating. You'll often hear our Premier say, we do the big things together, and that is how we approach all of our work every day. So I am incredibly grateful for all of the people, the instructors, the frontline administrators, the leadership at all of these institutions that are not only great to work with when there is a plan coming towards them, but are excellent, are phenomenal at bringing ideas to us as government. And our job is often to provide financial support, but sometimes it's just to get out of the way, to make regulatory changes so that they're able to do the work that they want to do, or to move other barriers out of the way. So we're going to continue to train more Manitobans than ever before, and looking forward to a prosperous future in this province.
Member Morden Winkler.
Thank you, Chair. So one of my questions was specifically, we do know that there's a lot of desperate need for trained, skilled workers, whether it's in manufacturing, in our housing, construction. Many of these positions require a red seal, and that takes training, obviously. How is the minister specifically addressing situations that are desperately needed in rural Manitoba, in any of the areas, not just the north, but in all of the province, as well as areas that are economic drivers for the province? Winnipeg has a lot of industry. Southern Manitoba has a large industry environment, and there's always shortage of people that they need, like the minister had mentioned, in electrical, plumbing. There's people who are doing welding. There's so much happening in so many areas, and a lot of these areas, mechanics, for example, agriculture. They don't have enough space to be able to do the training within their large agricultural farming business that they have. So they all need skilled, trained mechanics for so many things. So question was specifically, like, who has the minister consulted with to know exactly what is needed in those situations? Besides Churchill, what else is the minister doing to make sure that we're meeting the needs that we have across the rural areas of Manitoba, for example?
Honorable Minister, Advanced Education and Training.
I've mentioned before that relationships are key to us getting anything done in this government. So there are a number of formal tables and informal avenues that we use to make sure that we are well connected to what's needed in industry and in municipalities. A number of programs have come as a result of conversations with mayors and reeves. But first and foremost, PSIs need to be funded properly in order to be responsive to any of the needs in community. So we start from a place of ensuring that there is stable, predictable funding for post-secondaries across the province, so that when a mayor, a reeve, or AMM comes to an institution like a Red River College or an Assiniboine College and says, we really need a program for licensed practical nurses in our community, or for water treatment or electrical engineer, that the institutions have the capacity to do it because they are being properly funded. None of this is possible without that stable, predictable funding, which is what we have provided to our institutions. Our institutions are very closely connected to industry, and you can, if you look over at the Red River College campus, there are buildings with Jerry Price's name on the outside, and there are many, many other examples of industry being closely connected to what's happening at the colleges, not just as a namesake on a building, but really as a partner to help move through issues that need to be solved. There is that applied engineering piece is so critically important for Manitoba businesses. We were proud to be part of an announcement of an articulation agreement between University of Manitoba and Red River College Polytech, whereby any graduate from one of Red River College's engineering programs, whether that's electrical engineering, civil engineering, any of the engineering programs, have a direct entry into U of M engineering faculty now. So that is a game changer for industry across the province, whether we're talking about the businesses that exist in Winnipeg or the ones in southern Manitoba. I know that pharmaceuticals and cabinet making and there's huge industry and lots of opportunity in southern Manitoba, and part of the reason why it's so important that we properly fund post-secondary is to be able to be responsive to those labor market needs and to know that we have the best qualified people to be doing the jobs that are needed at those places. Linkages, if you've never been, is a phenomenal opportunity to meet firsthand with First Nations leaders, mayors, reeves, educators, folks from all over the province who have their attention focused on the north and really looking at solutions for not only northern workforce, but northern development overall. It's coming up in, I don't know, 2 weeks, and we'll be there again to meet with representatives in the north, and that helps shape a lot of where we focus our direction as well. We know that we can't support healthy communities without sufficient healthcare staffing, without teachers and other essential workers, and we work closely with the sector councils. Frankly, we empower our colleges to work directly with the communities who need them. So there is phenomenal working relationships between all of the colleges and most often the communities closest to their hub of activity. But that's not always true. Assiniboine College, for example, is training more licensed practical nurses than anyone else right now, and they're all over the province doing that. They're doing that in southern Manitoba, and Westman area, northern Manitoba. And really it is those conversations about what is needed, what is the capacity, and how do we ensure that we get instructors. You mentioned the need for instructors. How do we compensate people fairly so they are motivated to stay in those roles and that they are able to offer their expertise for as long as we need them? It is a complex problem with a lot of partners at the table, and thrilled to be making it work.
Member Morden Winkler.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Question about the interprovincial training agreements that Manitoba I'm assuming has. Just wondering how many students are specifically involved in those? What agreements, what provinces do we have agreements and which schools do we have agreements with currently, and what skilled programs those are that we don't offer or don't have in our province, that they have to go into a different province for this training?
Honorable Minister of Advanced Education and Training.
Yeah, I appreciate the question, and just for a little bit of context, we have interprovincial training agreements when either we don't have enough interest here to run our own program, or it's been previously determined that it would be cost prohibitive for us to launch a program, or there are other provinces that just do it better. So in the case of all of these agreements, it's one of those reasons that we have them. I'm proud to say that the agreement that we have with Sask Poly for the CLXT, the Combined Lab and X-ray Tech, That's an agreement that we will see come to an end in the next couple of years because we will have our own program at Assiniboine College. So there's a regular review of what is needed for interprovincial, and we do regular assessments as to whether it makes more sense to launch a program here. We have our existing agreements. We have electro-neurophysiology with BCIT. That's a 2-year program that trains students to become lab technologists that use specialized equipment to monitor brain activity to assist with diagnosing neurological disorders. That requires special training and special equipment. And we usually only have 1 or 2 people participate in that. Prosthetics and orthotics is at BCIT as well. The combined lab and x-ray tech that I spoke of is at Sask Poly, so Saskatchewan Polytechnic. And we have funded additional seats this year to ensure that we are training more folks as we need them, and to help put us in a better position for when we start training our own here. We have a nuclear medicine technology, and that is with Alberta and Southern Alberta Institute of Technology, SAIT. It's a 2.5-year program that trains nuclear medicine technologists who work in diagnostic areas related to cardiac care, oncology, thyroid, and blood testing. Cardiovascular perfusionist. It's a 4-year program at BCIT. We usually train 1 a year.
2 in 1 year, 1 every year.
2 in 1 year, 1 in the next year. It's a long-standing agreement that keeps perfusionists working in Manitoba. And we have the clinical genetics technology, that's also through BCIT. And the one that most people are most familiar with is the veterinary medicine program through Western Vet. So we, as I mentioned before, we're always looking to see if it would be better value to deliver that program here, if we have the capacity to deliver it here. And in certain cases, we have moved to do away with interprovincial training agreements to work towards training our own here. And again, the CLXT is a great example of that. We know that we need more than we are able to get through an interprovincial training agreement, so that's why we've decided to launch our own training facility to be able to deliver that here at home. It's an important investment, and I know every person I've talked to in the Western Manitoba region is thrilled. At latest conversation with the president at Assiniboine College, there is an interest list of nearly 1,000 people. So it is clear that it is a training opportunity that people want to take advantage of, and we'll continue to look at those options that are in demand not only in the labor market, in our healthcare system, but also in demand for students, that it becomes a desirable occupation that people are really looking forward to joining.
Member Morden-Winkler.
Thank you for that information. One more question about advanced education and training. Sorry, with the adult education, where it's regards to adult education. Just a question about how many spaces do we have for adult ed in province of Manitoba, and how long are the wait lists right now currently
Order,
at those
please.
locations?
The hour being 5 p.m. Committee rise.